listening to Pick of the Commonwealth, the programme that reports on political, social and cultural events throughout the Commonwealth. My name is Robin White. In this edition, Pakistan's new Prime Minister. What kind of man is he, and how will he deal with President Musharraf? Mwai Kibaki and Raila Odinga agree to share power in Kenya, but how long will it last? The Mauritius Broadcasting Corporation starts the building of a sparkling new broadcasting centre, courtesy of the Chinese. We visit the tiny York Island off Sierra Leone in search of the devil. We meet an award-winning novelist from Bangladesh, and we ask, are men being sidelined at work and at home? After months of considerable turmoil, Pakistan has a new Prime Minister, Yusuf Raza Gillani. He comes from the PPP party of Benazir Bhutto, who was assassinated last December. After Bhutto's death, scheduled elections were postponed by President Musharraf. But in February, Pakistanis went to the polls and they gave the thumbs down to Musharraf, voting in parties opposed to him, the PPP and the Muslim League. The PPP then picked Yusuf Raza Gillani to be Prime Minister. On the line to Lahore, I asked Moniza Hashmi of Television what kind of man the new Prime Minister is.
Mr. Yusuf Raza Gillani has always been keeping a semi-low profile. When I say low profile, I mean he's someone who has been untouched by scandals. There's nothing there that one can say that he was accused of. And he has been winning his elections straight down. So he's someone who is well respected. He's quiet. He's very polite. And he was in jail for 5 years during Mr. Musharraf's time. No charges proved. So I would just say he's someone that we in Pakistan are very comfortable with, actually.
Does he come from a wealthy family?
Yes, he does. He comes from a landed family of Multan. Multan is one of the agricultural big provinces of Pakistan. He is married into a good family. He belongs to a family that goes back many generations of Multan, and he is very well respected there. And he is someone of some means, yes.
Is he a devout religious person?
No, I wouldn't say that he's devout religious. Like all Pakistanis, he's a Muslim, he's a practicing Muslim. And that's about as far as we know. I mean, there's never been anything to suggest that he would be a very hard kind of a practicing Muslim. No, he's just, I think, a normal Pakistani Muslim.
The key question is, will he try and get rid of President Musharraf? Will he try and push him out of power?
The People's Party is not the party that is asking for, demanding Mr. Musharraf to be removed. It's the PMLN, as we call it, the Nawaz Sharif group, and they have been quite adamant about it. They have been quite vocal about it, and that's fine. That's the way they feel, and they seem to be sticking to their guns. I think if the matter comes before Parliament, and that's where it should be solved, and if there is to be a decision, then the decision will be made in Parliament. And if they say that he must go, then he will go.
That was Moniza Hashmi of Television in Pakistan. Once again, the Commonwealth Foundation is searching for the best writers in the Commonwealth. The shortlisting and selection process is well underway. They've already chosen a number of regional winners, including Best First Book, South Asia Region. That prize goes to Tamima Anam from Bangladesh. Her novel, A Golden Age, is about Bangladesh's bloody war of independence. It starts in 1971, the year when Bangladesh declared its secession from Pakistan. Tamima Anam went to university in America and now lives in London. I asked her why she picked this subject for her first novel.
I became interested in the Bangladesh War from a very young age. My family were involved in the war, my parents, both my parents, other members of our family. So I grew up listening to stories about the war, and when I was doing a doctoral thesis in anthropology, I went back to Bangladesh to interview. I was doing an oral history project. I went back to interview survivors of the Bangladesh War, and that's where the idea for the novel came about.
Now you call it the Golden Age, but I remember it as a terrible time. You know, it was awful. So why do you call it the Golden Age?
Well, it's called a Golden Age because although the Bangladesh War was a very terrible time, as you say, and many, many people lost their lives and people lost their loved ones, it was also the birth of a new country, and the people who were imagining that country had a limitless kind of imagination because their hopes for the future were kind of pure. They could imagine any kind of country they wanted, and they had a lot of idealism. They dreamt of a secular, prosperous nation. So for them, it was a golden age, and I wanted to suffuse the novel with not only the very harsh realities of the war, but the kind of spirit of idealism that pervaded that time.
As you went around talking to people, did you come across people who didn't approve of secession?
No. I specifically talked to people who had participated in the war, and very few people in Bangladesh now would say that they didn't agree with secession because they're citizens of an independent country because of secession. Those people who did not agree with East and West Pakistan parting collaborated with the Pakistan army, and we consider them war criminals, although they have yet to be tried.
They're still there in Bangladesh, are they?
Yes, some of them hold high positions of power, and so there's just been a recent call by Amnesty International to have a UN-supported war crimes tribunal.
You think there should be a war crimes tribunal?
Absolutely. At least there should be some kind of reckoning, because those people who lost their loved ones at least need some kind of official acknowledgement of what happened, which has yet to occur in Bangladesh.
What is stopping the process of them going on trial?
There's a lot of debate within different political parties as to how this matter should be approached. And as I was saying, there are people who collaborated with the Pakistan Army who are members of parliament, some of whom have held ministerial portfolios. So there's been some resistance to that kind of reckoning. But I do feel hopeful that it will happen sometime in the near future.
If they're so unpopular, I mean, why were they voted in as members of parliament?
Because there hasn't been a full disclosure of those people who participated in the war crimes, and there hasn't been a kind of public acknowledgement of their activities.
You talk about the hopes people had at independence. Have those hopes been fulfilled, or have they been dashed?
Well, some of those hopes have been fulfilled. We do live in an independent country with a mostly functioning democracy. Pakistan was having many troubles with democracy in the years that East and West Pakistan were united. But of course, the last 37 years have not necessarily been kind to Bangladesh. We've had a lot of political as well as environmental problems. So for many, many people, the fruits of independence have not been realized or enjoyed.
So people are angry or depressed or what?
No, I don't think it's a nation of angry and depressed people. I think people are quite resilient and hopeful. They just deserve better.
Do you write in English or do you write in Bengali?
I write in English, although I do read and write and speak Bengali. My English is much more fluent, so English is the language that I feel most comfortable writing in. My novel has been translated into Bengali. It was released at the National Book Fair in February this year.
And how has it been received?
Very warmly, I'm happy to say. People feel that it's the story of their war, and of course, I haven't had much of a response from the Bengali edition, which will reach a much wider audience, so I'm eager to hear what people's responses are to that.
What do you hope the response will be?
I hope that people will begin a conversation about the past, that it will be an opportunity for them to revisit what happened in a way of acknowledging the past, and maybe for some people it will be a nostalgic experience to read about what happened, and also for the younger generation to gain a sort of non-history book lesson, a story about the war, about ordinary people and how they survived the war.
That was Tamima Anam, author of A Golden Age.